Hello students, our next topic is generation of computers. The term generation of computer means the development phase of computer. So students, the term generation of computer means increasing growth of computers. Okay, the first generation of computers 1946 to 1958. Okay students, the first generation computers were from 1946 to 1958. Okay students, the vacuum tube years, and these years were also called vacuum tube years. Okay, the features of first generation computers are, so some features are given of the first generation computers, which are: the first generation of computer used vacuum tubes. Okay, so vacuum tubes were used in first generation computers. Machine language was used for giving instruction to the computer. So students, the language which was used for giving the instructions or command to the computer was machine language. The computers were very large in size, slow, expensive, and often undependable. The so students, size of these computers was very large. They were expensive and slow, and even they were undependable. So the processing speed of these computers were slow, and even these were undependable. Why? Because most of the time these computer stucks at the working hours. Okay, so that is why the people cannot depend fully on these computers. The minimum memory capacity of the minimum memory capacity was around 20 kb. So students, that time the minimum memory capacity was around 20 kb. Punched card and paper tapes were used as secondary storage device. So as a secondary storage device, they use punched card and paper tapes. Example of first generation computers are ENIAC, electronic, numerical, integrator and calculator, and ADVAC, electronic, discrete variable, automatic computer, UNIVAC, universal automatic computer. So students, these are the examples of first generation computers. Okay students, next comes the second generation of computers, 1959 to 1964. So these computers, the second generation was from 1959 to 1964, the era of transistor. So this was also called as the era of transistor. Era means time, the time of transistor. The features of second generation computers are: transistors were highly reliable compared to tubes and occupied less space. So these transistors were highly reliable in place of these vacuum tubes. Okay, during this period the invention of magnetic cores for storage also took place. So in this period magnetic cores were also invented for the storage of the data. Okay students, memory capacity was around 128 kb. So earlier it was 20 kb, but in second generation the memory capacity was around 128 kb. Development of assembly language. So in the second generation computers, assembly language was developed. Okay, example of second generation computers are IBM 1401, IBM 7094, and UNIVAC third. So students, these are the examples of second generation computers. Next comes the third generation computers. So Third generation computer was from 1965 to 1970. The features of third generation computers are the transistors were replaced with integrated circuit. So students, these transistors were replaced with the IC or integrated circuits. Integrated circuits were invented by Jack St. Clair Kilby and Robert Noyce. So students, these three people invented integrated circuit. Okay, who? Jack St. Sorry, this is only one name. Jack St. Clair Kilby and Robert Noyce. These two people invented integrated circuits. These computers proved to be highly reliable, relatively inexpensive, and faster. Okay, these computers were very fast in speed, and they are also inexpensive. Means they are of very, the cost of these computers was less. Okay, means earlier in the generation of second generation computer, in the period of second generation computer and the first generation computer, computers were very expensive, but in the third generation it became inexpensive. Okay, input and output devices could interact with the operating system, and that time input and output devices can interact with the operating system. Okay, operating system is what? The software or the program which is used to operate the computer or computer hardware. Okay, next is mainframe computers were developed during this generation. For example, IBM 360, ICL 1900 series. Okay, so students, mainframe computers were developed during this generation, and example of these computers were IBM 360 series and ICL 1900 series. Okay, memory capacity was around 1 MB and speed was 1 MIPS. So students, in second generation computer, the memory capacity was around 128 KB, but in the third generation computer, the memory was around 1 MB. Okay students, in 1 MB 1024 KBs are there. Okay, and speed was 1 MIPS, means 1 MB per second. Okay students, development of high level language like COBOL and Fortran. So in this period, high level language was developed like COBOL and Fortran. Many computers were also developed during this phase. For example, ICL 2903, CDC 1700. So students, many computers were also developed during this year, and the example of these computers are ICL 2903 and CDC 1700. Areas of application were mainly business, education, scientific, and engineering. Okay, so students, these were the areas where these computers were applicable. Okay, means these computers can be used. These computers were used in business, education, scientific, and engineering areas. Okay, next comes fourth generation computers, 1970 to present. So students, fourth generation computers were from 1970 to present, means till now. The features of fourth generation computers are the advent of microprocessor chip marked the beginning of the fourth generation computers. Okay, means nowadays you have seen that computers are coming with the microprocessors. Okay, the Intel Corporation engineer Dr. Ted Hoff had invented the Intel 4004, the world's first microprocessor. Okay, so the world's first microprocessor 4004 was developed by Dr. Ted Hoff. Okay, semiconductor memories replaced magnetic core memories. Okay, in this period, in place of magnetic core memories, semiconductor memories were used. The processing speed faster, access, increased memory capacity helped the development of powerful operating systems. Okay, so in this period the processing speed was faster and the increased memory capacity helped them to develop the powerful operating systems. Programming languages are used as C, C++, Java. Okay, so in this period the languages which are used for giving instruction to the computer were C, C++, and Java. Okay, so students, now we will learn about the fifth generation of computers, present to tomorrow, means from the current period of time to the coming period of time. The features of fifth generation computers are work on artificial intelligence, robotic engineering, science fiction is in full swing. The researchers are working on speech recognition, a lot more changes, a lot more change in technologies yet to come. So students, these computers are helpful for us to develop the machines which intelligently works for us without making any mistakes. Okay, that is called artificial intelligence. Okay, now next comes robotic engineering. Robots can also work for us as a assistant. Okay, if you give a voice command to a space, if you give a voice command to a robot to do a specific task, then it will perform the task for you. Okay, next is science fiction. Science fiction, it deals with imaginative and futuristic concepts such as advanced science and technology like exploration of space, time travel, parallel universe, etc. Okay, so students, this is all about the fifth generation of computers. Next comes comparison of various generation is given below. Okay, first generation, these computer were used, vacuum tubes were used in these computers. Okay, the size was huge. Okay, speed was very slow, and the example is UNIVAC and ANIVAC. These are the examples of first generation computers. Okay, next comes second generation computers. In these computers, transistors were used. Okay, size was big and the speed was very slow. Okay, very slow, and very slow means it was, it is faster than the first generation computer. Okay, means in this speed is only slow, and here in first generation computer speed is very slow. Okay, and the example of second generation is IBM 160. Okay, next comes third generation computer. In these computers integrated circuits were used, size was small, speed was good. Okay, and example is IBM 360. Okay, Next, fourth generation computer, microprocessor were used. Size is smaller, speed is fast, and example is IBM 370. Next, in fifth generation computer, artificial intelligence is used and size is very smaller, okay, and the speed is very fast. Example is robot. So students, now our chapter is finished. We will do the exercises in the next video. Okay, thank you.